その殺気を引っ込めてくれねえか。ここでやろうってんなら別に。
Hello everyone, this is Phoenix and Joel back in another video. Today I'll be talking about how as Christians could take an example of Assassin's Creed and put it in our life. So let's begin. I'm sure you may know the popular game Assassin's Creed, right? It is made by multiple religion creators, like as it said at the beginning of the game, each one of the games is like, the game is a mix of different religion, so it's not all one, it's like mixed stories, right? So yeah, you could like separate it and just put it in your life. You could easily put these in your life, the words, what the assassin lived by, just like the line, we work in the shadows to serve the light, and just like, working with God, like sometimes we gotta be in dark, be in the dark to serve God, sometimes, we gotta be sneaky, and there are a few Bible characters in the Bible that have worked in the shadows, and I'll name a few. Kings Obadiah, hope I'm saying his name right. He he went in to like work for the wicked king, as part of his job, his true job, he would guide 100 prophets, he would help 100 prophets into, across where they need to be. And he would serve the wicked king on purpose, but he actually served God, purposely. He knows what he's doing, and that's like in the game, you disguise yourself, you go in, like some of the games you have your disguise, like that one of the levels in Assassin's Creed of Ezio, where you have to disguise yourself, and it's just like Obadiah, disguise yourself, you gotta get yourself in that building, because sometimes you do have to like do what you gotta do to get jobs done to help God's people, And yeah, if you want to know more about it, you could go to First Kings in the Bible. Like that, all I know where it is First Kings. So yeah, you have to read the whole thing to find it. Next, there was a man named Jonathan who worked to protect David. Who was sent by God to protect David because King Saul wanted to kill David because King Saul was becoming evil. He was a lost cause. He was jealous, right, of David's victory, right? And so God knew, you know, and he was sent him, Jonathan, to protect David, And as Christians, of today, you can still, be able to protect fellow Christians. It doesn't have to be because you were sent by people or by God. Like you just do it yourself. You could protect, be a protector. It doesn't have to be by fighting. It could also be by words or by social media. Or help them out of the situations. Something like that. Be a protector. And God is always a protector of us. We should be a protector for our fellow people. There are many who work in the shadows in the Bible, to serve God, to help his people. There are plenty. And I just named a few, and another one I could mention is Esther, She went and she married the king, right? And she didn't reveal her last name until later on, because she was sent in there to help her people. At the beginning, she didn't know why, she doesn't know why. She was just sent there, she didn't know why she was chosen, all that. And, you know, it's kind of like a modern day, sometimes the people, you don't know why you were sent there in that moment, you don't know why, and your situation is going like this in your life, you should, but if it's of God, then keep pushing forward, if the situation, if your path is of God, keep pushing, if it's the right path, don't stop. Nothing is true, everything is permitted. that the words that assassin live by, right? And it's not like literally actually like bad, like those words. People who don't understand won't won't know what it really means. Ezio even explained it to this girl, and I forgot her name, but Ezio explained it to her in the last mission.
È così bello qui. This is where your order began?
It began thousands of years ago, but here it was reborn.
By the man you mentioned, Altair?
Altair ibn Ahad. He built us up, then set us free. He saw the folly of keeping a castle like this. It had become a symbol of arrogance and a beacon for all our enemies.
And the mandate for menacing hoods? Was that his idea as well? You mentioned a creed before. What is it?
Nothing is true. Everything is permitted.
That is rather cynical.
It would be if it were doctrine, but it is merely an observation of the nature of reality. To say that nothing is true is to realize that the foundations of society are fragile, and that we must be the shepherds of our own civilization. To say that everything is permitted is to understand that we are the architects of our actions, and that we must live with their consequences, whether glorious or tragic.
The Brotherhood of Christ, yes, just like the assassins of the Brotherhood, like the Christian, the fellow Christians together, be the Brotherhood of Christ, and it's not really called the Brotherhood of Christ, not really, like you can't call it that if you want, there's nothing wrong with it, but like, it's mostly the disciples, it's mostly called the disciples, of Christians, that follow God. Now, I understand not all Christians are fighters, and that's okay. There are other ways to fight, like using your words, using, your skills, or whatever you do, It could be a doctor, it could be a cook, it could be, anything, So, yeah, you don't always have to be a fighter, to deserve God, that's the best thing ever, And your skills, your what you do is just as important, And it's the same way it shows in the game, Like there are people who help the assassins who aren't assassins, who don't fight themselves, but they still help out. They know about your creed, they know about what you do, and they know you're doing a good thing, and they want to help you out, they want to help any way they can. And who knows, these unbelievers that want to help you, they might end up opening their eyes and become Christians themselves because you are a good influence. You influence them on the good path, without even trying. You just there. You're just right, like they see that you're good. They see that you're doing a good thing, and they want to help out. Do the best thing. Like for example, Ezio had Leonardo help him out. With the gadgets and all that. They become good friends. Yeah, like that. And yeah, so Christian, yes, don't be afraid to ask unbelievers, to help. Don't be afraid to let an unbeliever in your life, if it's safe. Because God does say to watch out for people that are unbelievers. If they're really, really bad, then let God handle them. Let God handle them. Don't even try. Let God handle them, his words, not mine. He said more than that, but yeah, that it's in the Bible. Like, yeah, God warned us, like, hey, be careful, don't be around people who are just evil, like, so yeah, let God handle those type of evil, but the one who are not too far gone, and God knows you can handle it, and then you will be able to be around that person, and yeah, you can learn how to fight like an assassin too from the game. Like, no, I won't be teaching you how to jump off of roofs or like into a haystack, like stuff like that. Nah, but there are some skills you can learn, like climbing, jumping, sprinting, you know. And there is a Assassin's Creed workout coming up, so yeah, stay tuned for that. And yeah, so see you guys next time.